Hello everyone, in this session we are gonna talk about what is Git and GitHub. In the previous session we have seen what is terminal and how we use terminal, and in that session we have mostly focused on the top, like you can say the concepts which we really use. Like there might be thousands of commands, but we don't need to know all these 1,000 commands. Whatever the important commands which are there, which we use in real-time projects, we have talked about them, we have seen them. Similarly, in this session also, what we are gonna do is that we will understand what is Git, what is GitHub, and what are the most important concepts which we actually use as a developer. Whatever the projects we are gonna do in the next session, we will start backend, we will start Node.js, but from the next session all the sections are all the chapters, Git, Express, MongoDB, SQL, all these chapters are going to be interlinked with one another, right? Without watching the first session you might not understand the upcoming session. So it is really important to start from the beginning, and all these lectures are going to be connected, and we are gonna create this connection using the concept of Git and GitHub. Okay, so let us begin with our first concept, which is Git. Git is a open source and free version control system. Version control system is nothing but a system which keeps track of your code. For example, let's say that on day one I'm creating a project, I'm creating a huge e-commerce website, right? Quick commerce website like Zepto. I'm creating a website on my own. Now on day one I have created the overall HTML of the website. Here on day one I have initialized, or you can say create HTML website. Now on day two I have added CSS. On day 3 I have added some more HTML and something like this. My flow is going on. Now I want my code to be tracked on each and every day. Okay, on day 1 I did this, on day 2 I did this, on day 3 I did this. So I want to track every teeny tiny changes in my code, right? So to track every change, every nuance change in your code, we use a version control system, a tool. A version control system is nothing but a tool called as Git. Git is a tool which helps in tracking the changes in the code. It will track, okay, these are the changes which happened on day 1, these are the changes which happened in day 2. Like this, it will keep track of your code. Now you might ask, Jabir, what's the use of it? Why are we keeping track of our our code? Why can't we go forward just like that? The answer is, for example, let's say I remembered my idea. On day 3 I remembered, okay, this is what I want to create, I'm going in the wrong path. I realized that whatever the things I'm building is wrong, right? Let's say that you have changed all the things in your code, you have changed over the period of time, you have changed most of the things in your code, but you want to go back to the day 1 code template. If you're not using version control system, then you can't go back. So to keep track and to revert back, for example, on day 3 I realized that, okay, there is some changes in my idea that I have to do, and to do that I need day 1's code. So using Git I can go back and see, okay, these are the changes I have to do. I can manipulate, I can revert the old code as well, right? So I hope you have understood that Git is a version control system. Now how we use Git? In the previous session in terminal, I have shown you that we use Git Bash. Whenever we install Git Bash, automatically Git will get installed in our computer automatically. Now before we go into GitHub, the thing you need to understand is, whenever we install Git Bash, automatically Git will get installed in our computer. Now where we gonna apply our Git, where we gonna use our Git, we will talk about it in few minutes. Okay, now the thing you need to remember here, the basic thing you need to remember here is, Git is a tool which helps in keeping track of our code. It will keep track of each and every change which is happening in your code. Understood? Now what is GitHub? These two words are very same to one another. Git is a tool which keeps track of your code, and GitHub is a website, is an application in which you upload your folders. Okay, here GitHub is an online website where we upload our folders, our project folder. Now what is the need? Why we need to upload our folders into GitHub? The answer is you don't have any need as such. But for example, let's say that your project is having 200 to 250 files and you have put 1 month in building that project. Okay, you have put 1 month hard work in building that project. Some bad thing happened to you and your computer's memory got erased. So if your computer's memory got erased, then all these 250 projects will get erased from your computer as well, right? So to prevent this sort of uncertainties, what we do is that we will upload all these 250 files into GitHub folder and we call that folder as a repository. We create a repository in GitHub, and after creating repository, we upload all our code files into that. Now after uploading all our code files in online, we will have our project. And whenever we want, we can go into that repository, we can use that code or we can change the code as well. Okay, now before we go into Git, let us talk about a little bit about GitHub. I will go into the website of GitHub. You know, if you don't have GitHub account, let me show you how we use it. And from now on, whoever watching this video, I want each one of you, if you are a new developer, then you should have GitHub in your computer, GitHub account in your computer, right? So here you can see this is the GitHub website that we are having. Okay, got it. Now on the top right corner, you can see there are two options: sign up and sign in. If you are a new user, then you have to click sign up. So click on sign up, and what I'm gonna do is that I have created a sample email called as workspace something. So I'm gonna use this email. So I will copy this email and I will paste it here. After that, I have to create some password. I will give some password here. And username, let's say username is what we can do, Batman. No, not Batman. Let us give imaginary hub. Okay, it is showing yeah, imaginary hub is available, imaginary hub 01. Now click on okay, username is available, password is correct, email is also correct. Now let me click continue. Now after this, we have to verify our account. This might take a while, so I will cut the video here. Okay, this is how we create account in GitHub. I hope you have understood. After creating account, we have to sign up into the platform. Now this, you can see, this is the initial interface of GitHub. Now if you are a new user who don't know anything about development, then this might look a little bit overwhelming, but believe me when I say that it is going to be super easy, right? No need to worry at all. But the thing you need to remember here is on the left side there is a section called as create your project. That is important for us, and along this left side section, you can see on the right side topmost corner there is an icon. When you click that icon, now you will get your profile. Now click on your profile. You can see this is my profile which we have created, imaginary hub 01, and you don't have any public repositories yet. Public repositories or repositories in general is a folder where you upload all your coding files. Okay, so here what I'm gonna do is that I will create a repository now. So here I will click on repository, and here it will ask me imaginary hub 01 doesn't have any repository set. If you don't have repository, then you can see there is a green color button called as new. So click on it and it will redirect to a repository creation page. Now let us give our project name, repository name as what we can do, let's say the Batman. The Batman is fun, right? So here we will give the Batman is our repository name. It is available. Now we will give a description. As a good developer, you should most of the times give the description about it. Okay, what is this repository about? So we will write this is our first GitHub repository, GitHub repo. Okay, now there are two options. You can make your repository public or you can make your repository private. If you make your repository private, then only your teammates, or you can say accessed members, can see it. For example, let's say you are building something in which you and your teammates are the only ones who can access it. Then you can make, at that particular scenario, you can make it as private or else make it public. For now, I'm gonna make it public. Now along with it, I will add a file called as readme file. This is important here, right? Readme file. If you remember, whenever we buy a new phone or a laptop, you will get a manual, right? And in manual, what you will get? You will get the entire information about that particular device. Correct? Similarly, when you add a readme file, in the readme file will give you the entire information about your project. Okay, what is this project about, what is going on in your project? So all the information about that repository will be there in the readme file. Okay, so here I will click on create repo. Now you can see I have created my Batman repository, and here in the readme file you can see I am having the data which I have entered. I have entered this is our first GitHub repo and the name of the repo is the Batman. Okay, now the thing you need to be focused on is here I am having something main. Main is a branch, which we talk about what is a branch, and all like concept related to branch we will talk about in few minutes. And along with it, here we are having add file button. If you want to add some files in your repository, then you can do that. And along with it, when you click on code, you will get something like this. This section is used to clone your repository. For example, let's say I want this particular project into my local system. Then what I will do is that I will clone it. I will show you in every, like each and every little step, I will show you. No need to worry at all, no confusion at all. Okay, now along with it, the most important thing you need to remember here is commit. Commit is something which will show how many changes happened in your project. You know, when I created my project, one change happened. Now let's say I want to change something in my readme file. I want to add a full stop here at the very end. I want to add full stop. So what I can do is that I will click edit, and this will redirect me to a editing page. Now I want to add 2 full stop. I have added 2 full stop. So whenever we want to update a particular file, it's a 2-step process. The thing you need to remember here is, okay, in my repository I'm having some files. In that files, and whenever I change, that change is a 2-step process. First point, I need to add what I want to change. Here I'm adding 2 dots, 2 full stops. Now after adding that, I need to commit that changes. We will talk about what is adding and committing, right? So here I will commit. Now it will ask me again, are you sure that you want to add these changes to your old readme.file? So when you click on commit now, initially in my readme file there are no full stops. There is a file in which there are no full stops, but when you click commit, a new file will get overlapped, or you can say created on top of it, and this will become my new readme file, and in this file I will have my full stops. So here I will click on commit, and you can see my commit got successful. Now if you come back now, you can see here, refresh the document, you will see it is showing me 2 commits. Commits are nothing but result 10 changes, right? It's a change. How many change just happened in your repo, that will be shown by commit. Like this, we can edit or add documents in our GitHub repository. Okay, now the thing is, as a good developer, if you are a really good developer, then what we will do is that we use GitHub. It's not like we don't use GitHub at all, but we don't come into the website of GitHub. We will do all the changes, all the adding. For example, I'm having a folder and I want to add that folder into this GitHub repository. Then I can do that by adding by clicking on add button, and I will upload all the documents in my GitHub repo. I can do like in this way, but most of the developers don't use this method. What we will do is that, I have told you, right, Git is a tool. Git is a tool which is used to keep track of your code. So we will use Git to upload documents into GitHub. I will show you how we will do it. It is interesting, right? It is really interesting. We are not going into the GitHub platform, but at the same time we are uploading our files from our computer to GitHub without actually going into it. How interesting. Let us see this. Let us see how Git works. To use Git in our Windows, we have to download in Windows and Linux as well, we have to download Git Bash, right? And if you are a Mac user, then some computers will automatically have inbuilt Git. But if you don't have Git now, then I recommend you guys to download Git Bash. Okay, and whatever the code we are gonna do, we are gonna write in about Git. There are some commands about Git. So those commands we are gonna write it in mostly three different ways. First one is using Git Bash. We will use our terminal, and in the terminal we will write all our code. This is one way of doing it. And the second way, which is the most frequent way, is using VS Code. We will use our VS Code, and in our VS Code we will have a separate section called as terminal. So in terminal we will write our Git commands. Clear? And there is a third way also which we most don't use, right, which is graphical user interface. We are not going to talk about it. We will use it very less when we study in upcoming sessions. When we study top level developer concepts, then we will see about it, right? These are the two methods you have to be focused on. First one is, if you want to write Git commands, then you can directly open Git Bash and write your commands in there. Or the alternate way will be, you will open your VS Code, and in the VS Code you will write, in the terminal you will write your Git command. So let us see how we use Git. So first of all, I will show you in Git Bash. So here I will open Git Bash here. Git Bash, open. Now you can see I'm having my MinGW, something like this, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. Now I want to check whether Git is installed in my computer or not. So for that I will write git _v, and it will tell me what is the version which is having in my computer. So the current version of Git is Git version 2.47 Windows something 1. This is one method. You can directly go into terminal, Git Bash terminal, and you can write your Git commands. But we mostly in this session we will open our VS Code, and in VS Code we will write all our Git commands. We have opened our VS Code. In VS Code there will be a section, there will be an option called as terminal. When you click on these three dots, you can see I'm having options called as terminal, all this kind of things. Click on new terminal, our terminal will get opened up. Now in this terminal only we are gonna write all our Git commands. So here I will write my Git version. To check my Git version, let me zoom it. Now you can see this is the current version I am having of Git. I hope you have understood where we are gonna write our Git commands. Now let us begin with our first concept of Git, which is Git Configure. Git Configure is a command which is used to tell my computer, okay, this is the user, this is the person who is using Git right now. For example, let's say that in my computer I want two persons to use Git. One is a front-end engineer and one is a back-end engineer, and for these two people the Git working should be different in the sense these two people should use different repos, different repositories. Then what I have to do is that while I'm using Git, I need to specify, okay, I am Jaber Hussain, this particular email ID, this is my like you can say configuration, and for this configuration give me folders. So initially I will give my configurations. I will give git config, and we will give global username, user.name, and I need to give who is the user currently using the Git. So here I will give Jaber Hussain is the user, so I will give Jaber. That's all, and click enter. Now along with the username we need to also give config global and user dot email, and we need to give here jabir @ some gmail.com. What this will do is that I will tell my user that okay, right now Jabir Hussain is the user who is using the Git and his email address is jabir@gmail.com. Okay, we are telling our computer, we are telling our local system, okay, the person who is using Git right now is Jabir Hussain and his email ID is jabir@gmail.com. Understood. Now what I'm gonna do is that in my C drive I will create a folder, and in that folder only I will do all my changes. Here I will create a folder, let's say Git understanding or GitHub. I will create a folder called as GitHub. Click enter. Now in my VS Code I will open this particular folder. In my VS Code I will open this folder. Where is my GitHub? Yeah, this is my GitHub. Open it. So I have opened my GitHub. Now the very first command we have, what we did till now we have understood what is configuration command, and we have configured our username and like his email to our Git, to our local system. Okay, now the very first command is cloning and checking the status. Okay, don't watch the PPT, just watch my face right now. Okay, so first of all I will go into my GitHub, and in GitHub I have created this repository. In GitHub I am having my repository. This is my local system. Now I want in my local system to have this repository. I want to connect this repository with my local system. How I can do it? By cloning that repository. Here you can see when I click on code I will get clone, and I am having different HTTPS, SHS, Git CLI. No need to right now focus on SSH and Git CLI, just focus on HTTPS. It is giving me some link, so we need to copy this link. And to clone our repository, what we have to do is that first of all I will open my terminal. In my folder I will open my terminal, new terminal. First of all I will go into my GitHub. You can see this is my folder. I am having C drive, user, Daja and GitHub. Now in this folder, in GitHub folder, I want to clone my repository. So here I will write git clone and I will paste the link. Click enter and the cloning process will automatically started. Now you can see the repository name is Batman, and you can see I'm having the Batman in my folder, and in that I'm having readme file. In readme file what I have added? I have added the Batman, which is the folder name, and in that I have written some description while I was creating, which is this is my first repo. So all the data which is there in the GitHub, I have cloned that in my local system. Till now we have seen how we can clone a particular repository. Now to understand the meaning of what is git status, and you might have seen that in this file they are basically 4 different life cycles of a particular file. To understand each one of it, let us take an example. Let's say that I am creating a file. The name of the file is app.html, and I will create another file app.css, and I will create another file app.js. I am creating 3 new files in my repository. I will move all these files in the Batman folder. Okay, so I'm moving all these 3 things in the repository. So I have what you can say inserted all my files in my the Batman repository. Okay, got it. Now you will see that here in app.css it is showing me a symbol called as U. Similarly, if I write something in this file also, let me save and go here, and here also I will write something like console.log, some whatever, like log. I am writing something. Now when you observe clearly, when we make a new file, it is representing with a symbol U. The Git is representing this file with U. U represents untracked file. It means that when we create a new file, our Git will not keep track of that particular file. Git understands, okay, this is a new file created by my user and I should not touch this particular file until and unless my user tells me to do it. So to remove this U symbol, to make all our files from untracked to tracked files, what we have to do is we have to write a command git add and that particular file name. So here I will write git add, and whatever the untracked files are there in my system, I need to give the names of that file. Here I need to give app.css, and along with it I need to give add app.html, and like this for each and every file. To make our file from untracked file to a tracked one, we need to give git add and that particular file. And you can also use a shortcut by just writing git add and just give a dot. What this will do is that it will add all the files and it will make all the files from untracked file to tracked files. Okay. Now, if you observe this diagram very carefully, let me show you. So if you observe this diagram, they are four different types of files we are having in Git. These files are, first one is untracked file, second one is unmodified, third one is modified, and the fourth one is staged file. Okay, what is the meaning of these different files is, for example, let's say I have cloned my repository. Now in the repository I am creating new files. When I create new files, what my Git will do is that it will understand, okay, these are the new files that my user has created and I should not touch them. I should not track them because there might be some private data, there might be something which I don't understand. So Git will not track those files, but we want our Git to track our code. So for that, what we have to do is we have to write a command called as git add dot. What this command will do is that it will add all the files from untracked to tracked files, which are unmodified files. Now the second type of files is unmodified files. Unmodified files are the files which are not modified. Okay, let's say that we have readme.md. In this we have readme.md, right? Now readme.md is a unmodified file. Whatever the code which is there in my GitHub, I have cloned this and it is as it is. Now what I'm doing is, let's say I want to add a colon or hyphen, something like this. Now I will save this and I will come here. Now you will see it is showing a symbol called as yum, right? Yum represents modified file. Now this file has gone through a process. From unmodified file, this file has become a modified one. Okay, now to to update all these changes, to make our untracked file to tracked one, to whenever unmodified file become modified file, we need to make sure that, okay, our Git is to the point, and to make sure or to tell our Git, okay, these are the changes we made and we want you to save these changes. To tell our Git, what we do is that we commit our changes. And I have told you that commit is a two-step process. The first step is we need to add all our changed files to our Git. So here I will write Git and I will write add dot. Now after adding, we need to commit. Like you can imagine this as a letter. First of all, while we are writing a letter, what we will do is that in paper we will write all our letter, whatever the thing we want to write, we will write it. After that, we will put it in the envelope. Putting it in the envelope is, you can consider as a adding process. Now after putting it in the envelope, we put stamp on it in order to deliver it. So the final step is putting stamp, and that putting stamp is commit, right? So here they are two main commands. Whenever we change or add or delete our folders, our in the repository, here our repository is the Batman. Now in this, whatever the things we do now to track the complete processes, we need to run these two commands. First command is git add dot, it will update whatever the changes you have made with all the files. Now after adding all the changes, we need to commit. So to commit, we'll write git commit yum, and we need to give the message along with it. Let's say this is my first commit, and click enter. Now you will see that we have made our changes, we have committed, we have saved our changes. Now you will see there are no changes, there is no u symbol, there is no r symbol, there is no yum symbol, whatever. Now again, if I click something, now let's say I'm changing something again, console.log something. Now save this and come again. Now you will see again I am having yum symbol. Yum symbol represents, okay, this file is modified now. Initially the file was unmodified. Right now, while I added some code inside it, my file became a modified file. Now let's say I am creating again a new file. Let's say app.dart. I am creating a dart file. Okay, now I will add this into my repository. Move this in the repository. Now you will see it is in the app.dart is a, okay, I should not add a dart application, but yeah, anyways you will see it is an untracked file. So to make, or you can say cope up with all the changes, whatever the changes we are doing with our repository, first thing is we need to add. So we'll write git add dot. So it will add all the files. Now after adding all the files, we need to commit. So we'll write commit yum, this is my second commit. We need to give a message along with it. This is my second commit. Okay, click enter. Now you will see I have made all the commits and all the symbols or warnings got disappeared. Like this, our commit process will work. Commit process is a two-step process. First one is adding, which is nothing but putting our letter inside the envelope, and finally committing it. Committing is nothing but putting stamp on it, finalizing it. Okay, these are the changes we wanted and we want to finalize these changes. So these are the process that we use, and I hope you have understood that the four different types of files, four different types of file cycles in Git. Till now we have seen how we can commit, how we can check the status, and along with it we have seen how we can clone a particular repository. Now this all the changes we made, we have added our app.js, dart file, HTML, JavaScript file. Now we want all these changes to reflect in my repository, in my GitHub repository. So to push whatever the changes we did in our local computer to our GitHub repository, we use a command called as git push origin main. When you click enter, now first of all we need to go into the directory. So cd the Batman, this is my repository name. Now I will give git push origin main. Click on it. Now it will open a window to connect our GitHub with this computer. So click on sign in with your browser, and we need to give our credentials. So workspace 597@gmail.com and my password. Click enter, and after getting sign in, we'll get a, okay. Now after giving the verification code, we need to authorize the Git ecosystem. So click on Git authorized ecosystem. Now you will see, if you come here, you can see in our GitHub repository we have inserted all the changes we made. Now if you go to your repository, this is the repository we have, right? Now if I refresh it now, you can see all the changes we have added: app.js, app.dart, HTML file, JavaScript, all these things. Like this, you can push whatever the changes you did from your local computer to your GitHub. Till now we have understood how we can add, commit and push our repo from our local system to our GitHub. Now let us understand, let's say in my local computer I have a repository. Now how I can add that repository into GitHub. So to do that, first of all what we have to do is in VS Code I will create a new repository. Let's say Superman is my repository name. So I will create Superman. Inside that I will create new files. Let's say index.html and app.js. Here I will create another file, app.js and style.css. I have created these three files, and you can see all these three files are untracked files right now. So first of all, I will go into that particular directory. So I will write cd superman, and I'm in my superman directory. I will first of all update, I will commit all the changes. You can see all these three files are untracked files. So I will write git add dot, after that git commit yum, and I will give the comment second repo commit. Okay, now click enter. You can see I have committed all the changes. Now you can, if you observe that this superman repository is in my local system, I want to upload this repo into GitHub. So to do that, first of all, I will open my GitHub platform. Now I will create a new repository. Let's say my new repository is what I can give, hero is my repository name, and I will make it public. Now after creating this repo, what I have to do is that you can see I need to copy this commands in order to run my GitHub, push my local repository into this particular folder. Now give git init. After giving git init, what we have to do is we need to copy this command and paste it here. Error, remote already exists, and you can see we have inserted our repository. We need to give here git branch. It is showing me the branches already exist and all the objects are included in my git branch. So this is how, first of all, we need to give git init command. After that, we need to copy and paste all these files, and after this we will get this. Now if I go to the repository, now you can see all the changes will get reflected. Now see in GitHub all the changes is now appearing, and this is my username, this is the person, this is the computer which inserted this all these files into my computer. Like this we insert the files from our local system to our computer using git init command. After using git init, whatever the commands which are there, we need to copy those commands and paste it in your computer, and automatically whatever the changes you made in your local system, that will get reflected in the GitHub platform as well. Now the next concept we have is workflow is really important. So using GitHub, what we can do is that we can create our repository, we can delete our repository, and along with it we can do small changes. For example, let's say that I want to change a particular button, or I want to add a line in our code. Then what I can do is that I can go to my GitHub platform and I will click any file. Let's say this is the file I wanted. Now I will go to that particular file, click edit, and whatever the changes you want to do, you can add it here and commit changes. Small changes which don't require that much of time and energy, you can directly go to GitHub and do that. But if they are big changes, then you have to do in Git, right? Whatever the big changes you are doing, do it in the VS Code. Now after completing whatever the changes you made in the VS Code, what you can do is that you will push that particular repository in GitHub platform. As simple as that, right? And generally big changes we don't do in GitHub, directly in GitHub. We'll go in our VS Code, we will do all the changes in our local system, and we'll check, okay, whether these changes are working or not. If they are properly working, then and only we will push that changes, will commit that changes in our GitHub repository. Okay, now using Git, what we can do, we can commit changes, we can add new files, and along with it we can push, we can init is nothing but whatever the local repo we have, we can push that local repo in our GitHub. This many changes, this many things we can do using our Git. Now the next concept we are having is Git branches. So to understand the concept, or you can say meaning of Git branches, let us take an example that you are building a project, and for that project we need three types of people. First one is a front-end developer, back-end developer, and one person for like database management or database architecture building, overall controlling the flow of the project. These three people you need to build a project. Okay, now what you guys will do initially is, first of all, we will create a initial structure of our platform, structure of our website, and that initial structure will be our initial commit. This will be our initial commit. Now after creating the basic structure, basic overlay of our website, what we will do is that we will divide our work. Like one person will take care of front end, another person will take care of the back end, another person will create the database architecture, right? And you want all three people to keep working, they don't want to waste their time. So what we can do is that for this initial commit, we will create a copy, and by creating a copy, what we mean is we create a branch out of it, and in this branch a front-end developer will start working on it. Similarly, a back-end developer will create a commit, will create a copy of this particular initial commit, and he will start continuing his own work by creating a branch. So what happens is we create a branch, and in that branch we will continue our work, and in the main branch the initial commit, whatever the initial commit we have, we call this thing as main branch, right? Main branch will continue, and front-end developer will continue his work, back-end developer will continue his work, and after completing all the work, we'll merge all the branches back into the main branch. Like this we can make our development process faster. Let's say, imagine a scenario that one person is building front end, and while front end is getting built, other people are chilling. You don't want this sort of scenario, you want everyone to work. So what they can do, everyone will create a copy of initial commit, and they will start working on their own way. One person will create a copy of initial commit and he will start his backend, another person will start front end, right? Now while they are creating, they will continue their path lines, they will continue building whatever the things they have. Now after building all the things, what they will do, they will merge at the end of the project, and finally we will get our project completed in a very fast manner. This is the usage of Git branches. So in Git branches, what we do, for the initial commit, we will create a copy of that and we'll continue our process. Similarly, a backend developer will create a copy of it and he will continue his process. Like this, we make our development process faster. Now the commands we are having, before going to the commands, let us take a sample example. Let's say that in the master branch, this is the master branch we are having, right? So in the master branch, where is my pen? I think I can't see my pen. Let me choose a black pen. Here you can see this is my master branch, this is my main branch. Now let's say in my code there is some bug, there is some error, and we don't want to stop our code, we want our code to continue, but along with the process I want to check at where I'm getting this particular error. So to check that, what I will do is that I will create a new branch, and in this new branch I will continue debugging process, but the main branch will continue, the main branch will not get affected, the whole process of code will be there, right? Now after the debugging, what I will do is that I will pull back that particular branch into my main branch, I will merge those two branches. So initially the code, there was a code which has some error, but we don't want to stop the code, we want the code to continue. So what we'll do is that we'll create a branch out of it, and in that branch whatever the issue we have, we'll resort it, and after it we'll merge it out. Like this, the main branch will continue, there will be no direct effect in the main code, but we can continue our debugging process as well, right? And what branching will do is that it will create a copy. Here let's say I'm having 200 lines code. What this will do is that this branch will create a copy of 200 lines code, and whatever the debugging process, after debugging, let's say my code is 100 lines code, in the main branch the code will be 200 lines, and similarly 200 lines, and when we merge now, a new branch, a new main, you can say a new main branch will get created, and in that new branch the resultant code will be 100 lines. Like this, I hope you have understood how branching works. Now the commands we are having is git branch. Git branch is used to check at which branch you are in. Git branch main is used to rename our branch name. So here let me open my VS Code as well here. Now in the VS Code, this is my PPT and VS Code. Okay, now in the terminal, what I'm gonna do is that first of all I will clear the screen. Now the first command we are having is git branch. Git branch will tell me in which branch I'm in. Now generally, if you are using old computers, or if you are using the old version of GitHub, in the place of main you will have master command, right? And GitHub has changed the name of main branch from master to main, because master is not considered a appropriate word in English. That's why it has changed to main branch. Okay, now if you are getting master branch, then you can change the name of the branch as branch yum and give main. Now what this will do is that it will change the branch name. If you click here, now you can see the branch name, the main branch is main. Okay, now if you want to if you want to check in which branch you are in, then you need to give get checkout. Get checkout, it will tell me your branch is up to date and the branch which you are in is origin/main. Now if I want to create a new branch, then I will give git checkout b and I will give the branch name. Here I need to give checkout b, and I will, let's say my branch name is Jabir, so I will give Jabir, click enter. Now you can see I have switched to Jabir branch. This is my main branch and I have created a Jabir branch out of it, and whatever the changes I will do in the Jabir branch, that will never get reflected in the main branch until I merge these two branches. I hope you got the point. Now if I want to delete a particular branch, before deleting, let me see git checkout, or first of all let me check in which branch I am in. So you can see when I entered git branch, I got two branches and the branch I'm in is Jabir branch. Like this we can create branches. Now I'm in Jabir branch and I can give whatever the code I want. I can write whatever the code I want, and this code will get reflected in my Jabir branch only, not in the main branch. Main branch will remain the same until and unless I merge those two branches. Okay, got it. Now if I want to delete Jabir branch, then I need to give git branch and I will give d, and along with it I need to give branch name Jabir. That's all. Now click enter. You can see it is showing can't branch used by work tree. Okay, so first of all, before deleting, we need to come out of that particular branch. So here I will go to main branch, so I will give get checkout and I will go to main branch. So here I will give main and click enter. Main branch already exists. Let me change the branch as branch to navigate. Here to navigate we need to give checkout, so checkout, and I will give main branch. Here main, click enter. Now you can see I'm in my main branch. Now after changing the branch, we can delete the Jabir branch now. So I will give branch d and I will give Jabir. Click enter. Now you can see I have deleted the branch. Now if I check how many branches are there, I will have only one branch because I have deleted my branch branch. I have deleted my Jabir branch, that is why I am having only one branch. Like this we use different branches to segregate our code and make our workflow faster. Now if I want to create multiple branches, for example let's say here if I want to do if I want to create a new branch, let's say I'm creating a new branch, checkout git checkout b, and I will create a second branch. So here I will give second branch. Okay, I have created the second branch. Now I'm in my second branch. Now what I'm gonna do is that I will change the code right now. I will change whatever the code I have right now. So in this I will write dot class something like this, dot class, and in class I will write some code, and inside that I will write here also I will write something whatever I want, right? Because we don't have any logic, yeah, like just writing whatever we want. Now if I want to check, I have made some changes in my second branch, I will commit the changes in the second branch. So I will write add, after git commit and I will give the message second branch changes, right? Now I have committed all the changes in the second branch. Now if I go back to my main branch, let me go back, checkout main, here I need to give main, click enter. Now you can see I'm in my main branch, and just observe the code. We have written something, but there is no code inside it, because in main branch there is no code. Again, if I go back to my Jabber second branch, not Jabber, second branch, if I give git checkout, just observe very carefully, right? Git checkout, and I will give my second branch. Now you will see the code will reappear again. Click enter. Now you can see I have my code again. Now if you want like how many commits the second branch and Jabber main branch has committed, and what is the difference between these two, all you have to do is that give git diff and give the branch name. Okay, if I want to check with main, then I will give main. Now you will see that the differences we are having is in main branch I am having nothing, and you can see in app.js I'm having some code and no new line, that's all. But in different branch, the branch which I have created, I'm having all this code. Okay, let me delete the terminal for now. Like this we use the concept of branches. Now if I want to add this particular branch into my code, then what I have to do is that first of all I will go to cd, which folder I am in right now, Superman. So here I will give Superman, and I will commit the changes. First of all I will commit git add dot, after that git commit and I will give second commit, click enter. Now on branch second we have committed. So like this we use git branch commands. I hope you have understood how git branches will work, how we create them, and how we change from one branch to another, and how code will work along with it. Now how we can merge these two branches. For example, I have my second branch, main branch, and I want to like you can say merge these two branches. Then I can use two methods. First one is git merge, and whatever the merging you want to do, you can directly do in the git, or you can create a pull request. So to create a pull request we need to write here. First of all I will open my terminal, and in terminal what I'm gonna do is that first of all I will go to my Superman repository. So I will give Superman, and we need to give git pull origin main. By clicking this, what we can do is that whatever the branches we have, we can merge the two branches into one. Now to merge two branches we have to use a command called as git pull origin. What this command will do is that it will merge the two branches. For example, I'm having my main branch and my second branch, and I want to connect these two branches. I want to merge the code of these two branches. Then I can directly write git merge, and whatever the branch I want to connect, I will connect those two, and it will tell me okay, you want to connect, okay, connection will continue to happen. Like this we can merge the two branches. Now the next is fixing mistakes. This is an interesting concept. For example, let's say that you have made some mistake in your code and you want to revert it back. For example, you have made a file and that file is stacked, that file is committed. Now you want to come back to your previous code. Then what you will write is, you will write git reset and that particular file. For example, if I have made some changes in my index.html, then I will write git reset index.html. What this command will do is that it will revert back before the commit. Whatever the code there is, right, that code will come back, right? This is one of the case. And the next case is, okay, you have committed all the things in 200 files. For example, if you have 200 files and you have committed all the changes in all this 200 files, but you don't want to give git rename, git reset and that particular file name for all 200 files. So what you can do is you can write git reset head tilde symbol 1. So what this command will do is that it will revert back all the changes in all the 200 files one step back, one commit back, right? Now if you want to go back, for example, let's say I have made my commit 1. This is my commit 1. After that I have made my commit 2, commit 3 and commit 4, right? This 4 commits I did, but at commit 4 I realized that okay, there are some changes which I made wrong and I have to go back to my commit 2. What I have to do is I can write git reset head tilde symbol 1, but the head tilde symbol 1 will take you one step back. From commit 4 we can go back to commit 3 only, but if I want to go back 10 commits back, 20 commits back, then I have to use this command. And this command will tell me git reset, and you can see I'm having something commit hash. What commit hash is, each commit will have a hash along with it, right? Each commit, whatever the commit you are doing, it will have a hash value associated with it. You can consider it as a key value pair. Each commit, for example, commit 1 will have a value with it, commit 2 will have a value with it, commit 3 will have a value associated with it. Now using this value we can revert it back. We can go back to our old commits. Like this we can reset our mistakes. Now the last concept we are having is forking. Forking is nothing but creating a rough copy of a particular repository. For example, let's say this is my GitHub. Now I will go back to my GitHub. Now I will search here Node.js, Node. I will search Node and I will get the repo of Node here. I will get the repo of Node here. Now clearly I'm not a part of this repository. You know, there are some people who build this repository, but I'm not one of the part of them, right? So what I can do is that I can fork this project. Forking is nothing but creating a rough copy of this particular repository into my account. So here I will create fork, and whatever the code which is there, that will automatically come in my repository, and I can manipulate or I can add some new changes into my code. Like this we can add or make changes in our code. We can fork and we can learn, okay, this is the code they have built, and if I want to add new changes I can do that. If I want to delete whatever the code which is there, I can do that. Okay, this is about it. This is about GitHub. Till now we have understood what is Git commands, what is GitHub, and in Git commands we have understood push, add, pull commands, branches, what are branches, different types of branch commands, fixing mistakes, and the last one is merging branches. This sort of different things we have, init commands, all these different commands we have learned till now. And I know that this lecture is sort of confusing and long, but I will provide you a link. You can study each concept of GitHub, and I will provide you a cheat list also. By following that cheat list you can remember the Git commands as well. So with that being said, I will see you in the next lecture. The next lecture is going to be on Node.js.